It's definitely the Polar Soul. 22. And thank you to Wardy. If you subscribe to Wardy, he's kind enough to give out his replay pack every month of the replays he's casted. The best part, of course, I think most people can agree, of StarCraft, is just watching the game played at such a high level. I love it. You know what's the worst part? Trying to get pro gamers to show up to events, especially online events, in a timely manner, and making sure everybody has not terrible ping. And like this series, and we're doing map vetoes, which is, I am not envious of the work people like Wardy and Base Trade and Gauntlet and all these online organizations do. So I just take their replays, I cast them at my own leisure, and it's way easier, and I love it. And hopefully you guys enjoy the game. A Stargate on the way for DNS. Making sure not to get his adepts caught in the same area he would be trying to catch a Reaper. The probe came back to try to delay the command center. The Reaper was still around to take it out. This is a little awkward, Soul. Goes through the bushes. And this has become kind of a staple of Protoss versus Terran, is the meta around the first Reaper. Oh. And the micro, of course. Oh, and he jukes it out, though. He makes it to the high ground, and now he's going to heal up. But the way you place your buildings as a Protoss, whether you proxy your racks as a Terran, what your objective is, are you actually going to go for probes, or are you going to keep it at home? The Reaper will die. Did he see the Stargate?
Base.
Yes, he did, and he saw the Oracle producing. There's an Adept on the other side. He's got to be careful not to lose Marines, because if you don't have at least 5 Marines, the Oracle can just start targeting things down, let alone if there's an Adept involved. There are actually 2 Adepts at home. Does DNS send them out to combine with the Oracle? He's sending one out. He might be it looks like he's suspicious of potentially a proxy of some kind. Maybe a factory. Maybe a starport. He saw a handful of Marines at home, but no sort of tell. But we, the all-seeing observers, with all the vision on the map, can see there are 2 barracks in the main. It's something resembling, well, it's a 2-1-1, but with our quick starport here. So not your conventional 16-stim Marine. You still have access to tech. There's a Widow Mine. Can you... I heard a Widow Mine burrow. I don't know where it is. Oh my god. Do you see it? It's right there! I heard it burrow. It's right underneath. You can't even see the health bar. It's placed so perfectly. But DNS sussed it out. He saw the target lock, and it wasn't given the time to actually take down the Oracle. So, now that he's confirmed the Widow Mine and he sees that there is stim on the way, there are 2 barracks, this isn't going to be a commitment to like heavy cyclones. The Oracles mean that right now DNS essentially has map control. It doesn't mean you can't send a drop out or something like that, but there's no way that Sol can move out with an army reliably, especially not without being scouted and prepared for by DNS. But this Widow Mine drop could be dangerous. He didn't catch the medevac. This isn't your standard 2-1-1, so DNS might not quite be expecting the drop at this time. We'll have to see. He's got plenty of units at home, but it comes down to the Widow Mine connections. Good reaction time. Trying to draw out a Widow Mine shot. That's going to be a couple free kills. The Widow Mine hits connect directly into the Stalkers. He gets almost all the units away as well. A good drop thus far from Sol. And they're actually going to go all the way home. I think he might be a little afraid of Phoenixes chasing down the medevac. Have there been any Phoenixes built? That's a negative. But a double drop to the left side. Blink is on the way. +1 is on the way, but they're a long way away. A spotting pylon. Having vision of things. He missed the double drop. Stim is going to be done. We're a few seconds out. There's still a drop on the right side. And DNS, if he doesn't preempt, this is going to do a lot of damage. The units are not in position. Remember, that other drop is in for a kicker. The Marines do not have combat shields, but with Stim and a couple medevacs, they're incredibly dangerous. He sees the commitment. The Guardian Shield going to help out a lot, but there's a drop in this base as well. DNS has brought the Oracles back. He's on top of it. A great defense for what he had. The Widow Mines are going to... He doesn't even go for it. DNS preparing correctly, realizing that this drop was a threat. And a nearly impeccable defense for what it was. Oh, he triggered the Oracles! He juked the Oracle! Beautifully done, but if he just loses the medevac, it actually doesn't matter. Oh, the Marines come in from the side! Either great observing or terrible, but either way, it's very dramatic. He gets out. Another drop coming in. A Widow Mine gonna connect. And kills the sentry as well. We got a little bit of time for a breather. Let's take stock of the situation. 5 more gateways on the way for DNS. He's investing in charge. He's got +1 attack, now getting +1 armor. Soul on the other side. Down a few workers, down on the 3rd, but he has a strong ground army. It does come down to control here. If left unchecked, I don't know if he saw that. That pylon, I do not think saw this army. He comes in. He's going to be able to kill some probes immediately. So the objectives right now, I think Soul has given up on actually taking out the 3rd, but he doesn't want to let DNS have time to harass, time to get units out on the map, force him to drag. He needs to keep the pressure on, because if DNS has too much time and too much space, he's going to get the things like Templar, Colossi, Disruptors. He's going to get really heavy upgrades. He might try for a 4th. So Soul kind of has to do an aggressive defense. Whereas at the same time, DNS... It looks like he just wants to brute force this army. He doesn't have a follow-up here. He wants to get rid of it, get some space, some breathing room, and he's doing exactly that. The blink comes in. He's going to start trying to target down the medevacs. There's another Widow Mine here that will connect, and the Zealots evaporate. The Stalkers themselves don't stand up to much. Another tag gets most of the army, if not all of it. Are we going to see a 4th base now from DNS? That's a Templar Archives investment. He's making some Immortals. So this is about the most... The smallest jump that he could take. Oh, 2 pickoffs! 3 pickoffs! 3 medevacs badly bruised will be put out of their misery. A nice pick there for DNS. He will just take down, finish off these rocks so they're no longer a potential issue. But Soul is actually expanding to a 4th base. He's decided to kind of back off a little bit. We got a Fusion Core on the way. He's opting towards the ranged Liberators. Which, if there is no direct response from DNS... Now here's the best defense. Now, the roles are reversed. Before Soul, he wanted to be aggressive. He wanted to make sure DNS couldn't get to splash damage. He couldn't get ridiculous upgrades. He wanted to have map control. But, when you're playing this heavy gateway style against ranged Liberators, you can't have your back up against a wall because the Liberators are going to be shooting you from where you can't even see them. He needs to be out on the map. He needs to get around the Liberators if he doesn't go directly into Tempest. The eventual counter is Tempest. You can defend with Phoenixes or Void Rays, but they take too much time. So if DNS is able to figure this out, and I think he should soon, he sees the Liberator count, he needs to get aggressive. He needs to try to keep Soul from being able to siege up these key locations. Liberators are incredible if you're able to use them aggressively on Dreamcatcher. We've already got... He sees the potential for a drop here. Well, he's feeling the potential for a drop, and we'll see a drop coming in. A 4th base taken by DNS. He's actually down a few workers. Advanced Ballistics is nearly completed. DNS is splitting up his army here. A Phoenix. He has the Phoenix just in case the Liberators are going to try to individually siege up mineral lines. But this could get very dicey very fast. The one thing is that DNS has, well, he actually doesn't have that great of upgrades. He's at 1-2. Soul's at 1-1, getting 2-2. So I thought DNS would have a little bit better, but his economy wasn't as good as I originally thought. A drop coming in, a storm. Well, goodbye. Well, he goes for the pick. Neither medevac will go down, which is the most unfortunate possible conclusion there. But now DNS is out on the army, and he has the storms to bring to the table. The Liberators are back defensive. This is where DNS wants to be. The rocks will be protected. A Robo Bay is on the way. A second Robo. Will we see a fleet? Nope. Fleet beacon for the Tempest as he starts to realize how heavy the Liberator count is. Zealots on the left. He does have a pylon out here as well. A planetary scouted on the right. Some maybe SCVs can be targeted down. The Liberator count is now at 6. And climbing. Ghosts are being added into the unit composition. He knows the Liberator's move. That opens up an opportunity to go through the rocks. The Liberators will close it right back down. The Ghosts on the way. They come with an EMP right out of the box. The medevac count is down to 4, with 2 being on the other side of the map, so he's got to be a little careful. But big EMPs! Only 1 Templar remains with Storm. Will DNS... Yeah, he has to retreat. He's got to get rid of these rocks. This could be a sticking... But yeah, he's realized he doesn't want to get caught between a rock and a hard place. A Liberator gets taken down over here. It doesn't seem like it got too much damage done. DNS down to 67 workers, though, so it did something. The EMP is taking down the Oracles. There's a good tag here. A pretty big storm. It's going to hit all the Liberators, but EMP is counter to the other side. Archon's on the way as we have a fight in the middle of the map. The choke points are asphyxiating. 1 Tempest coming up, but not enough to be able to one-shot these Liberators. Not even close. I wouldn't mind trying to come in. The standoff continues in the middle of Dreamcatcher. One Zealot walks in. Unfortunately, nothing in this bunker. Range will stem around. DNS can maybe going to try to use this opportunity. He can't see on the other side of the grass without the Observer. The Ghosts are coming up. EMPs, it looks like he still has a Templar in the mix there. No, that's a Sentry. There's not even a Storm at the front. Soul stimming all the way over to the left side. He's replenished the medevac count. He's at 9. Disruptors are on the field as well. We've got a full spread Protoss. Almost every tech is being explored here. We've got Robo Bay, Fleet Beacon, Advanced Ballistics, Ghosts as well. A nuclear missile is in the production tab. But a storm, a pretty big solid storm there. An EMP is preemptively dodged out. Soul, a lot of these, he actually will recall his entire army into this position. The Liberator's sieged up. He's backed up against no deck. But the storm and the Purification Novas knock back so much of the bio. Terrible, terrible damage on either side. The Templar coming from the north, but the EMPs take him out before they can do any damage. This base is just a casualty he's going to have to accept. The bio stimming in again. Another Disruptor comes out. The shot whips. The Tempests are chipping through the Liberators. He doesn't have that much vision of them, but the Storms and Disruptors make sure he can't get too close. The recall is down. He's going to drop on the Templar. Feedbacks across the board almost entirely. Some of the Liberators will unseat. DNS dislodges this attack, but it's just going to be removed to his main. Without a recall, he has to run all the way back. The Nexus isn't such a high priority anymore at this stage. How many of these units will get out? How many of these medevacs? That's the question. Was going into the main actually a mistake here, as opposed to a blessing? He drops over to this side. The Tempest targeting down more units. The payloads will be unloaded. The Tempest chipping away. A lot of the medevacs will escape. Soul will have to rebuild most of his army, though. At the end of the day, when the smoke clears, and there's a lot of it, DNS is left with his core units. He has the Tempest. He still has a lot of Templar, Immortals, Disruptors, even some Sentries. Where Soul lost most of his Ghosts and most of his Liberators. So we'll have to see those rebuilt. He's taken the gold base. He's also taken the bottom left as well. He's expanding. He's arced out around. But this army of DNS... Now Soul doesn't... If he loses another fight, he loses the game. DNS is knocking on the front door. EMPs come out. They don't connect on anything with too big of an impact. Another Purification Nova looking for something. Not finding it. EMPs across the board! Where is the splash damage? The Templar are behind. A nuclear missile is launched on the 4th as well while all this is going on. DNS, is he checking his bases? He pulls the probes away. He sees it. It's a lot of Stalkers warp. Is he going to lose the pylon? Oh, at the last second. The snipe comes out on one of the Templar as well. The Ghost getting something of a consolation. There's a cloak done. An Observer's trying to come in. EMP is not landing on the Templar, but will hit a lot of this Protoss army. Sol is at 200 supply. DNS only has 51 probes, and he only has 4 bases, which means his army supply is huge, but his ability to rebuild it if he loses it is limited heavily. So a double drop on the left. What is there to even defend? DNS can't even warp in. He has too many units. Trying to chip forward. Even some Vikings here. This is still so dangerous. But he recalls. The Blink Stalker's trying to get a pick off here. It's 2-3 against 3-3 and +2 ship weapons, somewhat importantly. But this opens up the map, and Sol will be crossing right through. This base should distract DNS. He doesn't have a recall. DNS is going to be out of mining very soon. He's going to be on a single base. Sol is going to get into such a nice position. This planetary doesn't matter. This position on the map... Are we going to base trade? This base is gone. There's nothing here to defend. There's a couple disruptors. What's the Liberator count? We're at 5 Liberators. DNS is scrambling back. He knows that base not that important. He needs this. Either he needs to win the game, or he needs the base in the bottom left. That's it. Those are the win conditions. Sol takes out this location and everything there. He's now mining. Well, he's not really mining from the gold, truly. But DNS still with 148 army supply. He has the chance to just knock out this Terran army in one blow before he even knows what hit him. But the Liberators are going to siege up. There are some disruptors. Another shot comes through the grass. A Ghost going around. Does he have a nuke? That Ghost not going to make it. The Terran army's all clumped up. Sol might have been able to outmaneuver Purification Novas. Disruptors are taken down. The Storms are not connecting. The splash damage is coming out, but it looks like Sol has quite the seawall. Oh, that's a big one. A Storm and a Disruptor shot connect on the main brunt of the Terran army. How many Templar are underneath? We've got 6 Templar, 4 Disruptors. It's a lot of Stalkers here. A heads-up fight. This is not really something DNS is looking to take. He needs to shave off so many parts of Sol's army he can jump on it, because Stalkers don't fight head-to-head with Marauders. It does not happen. Oh, the Stalker's going to take down the medevac in time. On the other side, EMPs are big. They don't stop the Disruptor shots. Almost picking off a Tempest. Sol has money in the bank, but he still can't quite crack the Death Ball. And the Death Ball is also filled with Death Balls, so it's just balls all the way down. Disruptor's looking for an angle, but without the Liberators to zone out, Sol won't even think about engaging. DNS is now mining, but a ranged Liberator and a nuclear missile. Sol forced to retreat. This Liberator back. Oh my. Oh, this... Okay. DNS moves away in time. He heard the nuke. The Liberator count is at 11. Double digits. Well, make that 10. Make that 9. Disruptor hits coming out. Second one got a pretty big hit. This is an incredibly difficult army to control for DNS. There's a lot of spell casting and targeting. A lot of units that need to be doing different things at different times. He's got to get the Blink Stalkers out of there while making sure the Disruptors aren't left behind. The Liberators take a location. The gold base is mining. Sol has a mineral bank, but not gas. That is important. Tempests are chipping through. Disruptor shots. Ooh. That's a big one. Still a drop on the other side. He tries to get a blink pickup. DNS is rotating around. Terran, unfortunately, does not have recall. There's a lot of ghosts in this army, which isn't really a great thing. Against disruptors, immortals, and stalkers, ghosts are not the best fighting units. I mean, using EMP is great. Are we base trading? DNS still has a recall on the table. Where's he going? Okay, he goes to the safer base. Liberators will see. EMPs across the board. The long range, shooting some of them down before they can get their hits off, but the Tempest trade. The shields are down. Shields entirely down on the Tempest, making them that much more vulnerable to the Viking. A naked Archon in the front. Here comes Soul, but the Disruptor didn't follow through. The Liberator's really starting to narrow down DNS's potential locations. This Zealot's starting to work on getting some kills. The worker count's at 50 and below. So these armies are huge. Disruptor hit. Another one. But the Liberator's in a very dangerous position. The Tempest count down to 2, and I think they have about that much HP between them. DNS is going to come around. He can't lose this base. That's pretty much the end of his mining. The Liberator's going to reseed. He rotates around to the other side. He has to come back around the cliff. The army's stimming in. The Liberators rotate around to the right. Disruptor shots coming in again. Liberators staggering forward. Vikings looking for more shots on the Tempest. The Nexus falls. Zealots going to work on this command center. There's very little mining for either side now. Remember, Soul still has that gold base. DNS taking the base in the center. He's got 37 probes. Eight medevacs. 6 Liberators. Well, the Stalker's looking to change that. A lot of bio coming out for Soul. He's DNS trying to take down this base. The Liberation zones, but there's still a lot of Disruptors underneath. 7, in fact, are the big shots here. Oh, that's a lot of bio. This can still very much go either way. Ah! Chops off one very unlucky ghost. The Planetary still being attacked. Engagements on either side. The Planetary at 8 kills and counting. A ranged Liberator has 7 kills here. DNS down to 30 probes. Soul to 34. The exchanges on either side. The EMPs land, but the EMPs don't kill anything. The Planetary eventually going to finish off these Zealots, but not before even more SCVs fall. Soul at 167 army supply. DNS dipping dangerously low. At some point, he won't be able to stop the Liberators from sieging forward. DNS has the most dangerous and precarious base here. He can't give up any ground. If he does, he has no more mining. Oh, big shot! Neither player has money in the bank, but DNS doesn't quite have the supply. Another EMP. There are 8 Templar. He's holding them back. He's holding them in reserve. He's got some at the natural. The Templar are the last stand. He wants to try to get rid of the Ghosts and then bring the Templar in for the Hail Mary. Oh, the Vikings will sacrifice themselves for the final Tempest. In fact, they aren't even needed anymore. He can put them on the ground. Of course, they're going to get blown up by Disruptors, but... the standoff continues. Soul's mining. He's at 197, but DNS still has a very dangerous army. A couple Disruptor hits. The EMPs... where are the Templar? He need 1 or 2 storms, of course. He's right outside of Sensor Tower range with them. He's looking to break this base, but he knows about this one, right? Another Disruptor hit. The EMPs keep hitting, but EMPs don't kill anything on their own. He's trying to move forward. Purification Nova's coming out. He didn't quite get the Blink Stalkers underneath. Disruptor's getting picked off on the retreat. At the same time, he's going for the Planetary. A set of storms come through, but they don't hit anything. The Planetary will hold. Soul is holding. A drop at the back. DNS is crumbling. Soul has held on. There is no more mining for DNS. This base will fall. The mining is drying up here. Soul still has 2 bases of minerals. He's so cost effective, but just not enough. There's still 7 Templar on the field. Even killing the production. Does that even matter now? He's gonna go for... but where do you go as DNS? Where do you go? He can maybe kill the bases, but the army. There's 147 army supply. He's gonna jump on it. And then he has some Templar intel. Is there any detection for Cloaked Ghosts? The Liberators are coming up. He's got storms on the Liberators. That's everything he needs. big storms coming in. The disruptors will go down. Soul collapses. He's tearing through the Protoss, and he comes through. The storms are not enough. Soul with the tactical plays. And eventually the Liberators cutting off the retreat. And in that game, 84 Stalkers, 14 Disruptors, 57 Zealots, 16 High Templar, 14 Medevacs, 16 Vikings, 26 Liberators, 47 Marauders, 159 Marines, 24 Ghosts. That was a pretty good game.